All right, welcome back. So I've got about another hour here. So I'm going to keep going on AI 2027. I know there's a lot of other things that are kind of going by the wayside, but I mean, the claims of that these people are making, right? It's like people are saying, and let me be more clear than just people are saying. The authors of this article, so the author of situational awareness, um, it was Leopold Aschenbrenner, the valedictorian of Columbia, who used to work at OpenAI in the alignment department. So, so if we click on the about, yeah, so he's working with all of these um, people. Uh, so like the authors here, these are people who are versed in the subject. These are experts. So yeah, so I'm very curious to hear what they have to say. So let's continue on. All right, so early 2026 coding automation. This bet of using AI to speed up AI research is starting to pay off. So this is written quite a bit different than situational awareness. Situational awareness was just explaining why this is a multifaceted growth that cannot be shut down even if one major component of the growth shuts down, such as running out of data or whatever. There's really no and the other thing that this makes a case for is why if you're a US citizen reading this, why you should care about the United States getting to this first, rather than for instance China, and why that matters for the United States to get there first. It makes a case for that, as well. And unfortunately, this makes the case that in order for us to get there first, we have to basically ramp up our energy production to a level we've never seen before, and that's going to take all of our climate initiatives off the table, basically. So it kind of it's definitely a it's easy to oversimplify it. It's 165 pages, so it's a whole book. And I read the whole thing in a prior series, so you can go back and kind of hear what I had to say about some of that stuff at that time. But it's really easy and tempting to oversimplify what was said in this 165 page book. But for me, the key takeaway is this thing ain't slowing down. It's got so much momentum. It'd be like stopping a freight train. And then the second thing is because it's not slowing down all over the world. Like it's not just that it has momentum like a freight train in the United States. It has momentum like a freight train in China and for like all over the world. There's this is like a global arms race essentially. It's important that that the right people win, whatever that means. And yeah, and the probably the most difficult thing is, if you care about the climate like I do, well, you might have to put those cares aside so that the right people get to AGI first, and then we can address issues like the climate with the benefit of AGI. All right, so OpenBrain. Now, OpenBrain is yeah. So this is written quite a bit differently. Situational awareness just describes the current situation and the reason why things are going to continue to improve, with the ultimate conclusion that 2027 will be a major year. So this is written all about the year 2027, and this is talking about a hypothetical future, and it talks about a hypothetical company named OpenBrain, not a real company, but a company. Um, that exists in the imagination of these authors, and that in early 2026, we'll be working on coding automation. OpenBrain continues to deploy the iteratively improving Agent 1 internally for AI R&D. Overall, they are making algorithmic progress 50% faster than they would without AI assistance, and more importantly, faster than their competitors. The AI R&D progress multiplier. What do we mean by 50% faster algorithmic progress? We mean that OpenBrain makes as much AI research progress in 1 week with AI as they would in 1.5 weeks without AI usage. AI progress can be broken down into two components. Number one, increasing compute. More computational power is used to train or run an AI. This produces more powerful AIs, but they cost more. Number two, improved algorithms. Better training methods are used to translate compute into performance. This produces more capable AIs without a corresponding increase in cost, or the same capabilities with decreased costs. This includes being able to achieve qualitatively and quantitatively new results. Paradigm shifts, such as the switch from game playing RL agents to large language models, count as examples of algorithmic progress. Here we are only referring to number two, improved algorithms, which makes up about half of current AI progress. Going forward, sometimes we abbreviate this as an AI R&D progress multiplier of 1.5. Clarifications. The progress multiplier is all inclusive and includes the time it takes to run experiments. For example, rather than only the cognitive tasks involved in algorithmic research. Number two, it's important to remember that the progress multiplier is the relative speed of progress, not the absolute speed of progress. If, for example, the compute cost to train a GPT-4 class model has halved every year for several years with ordinary human research, and then all of a sudden AI automates R&D and the progress multiplier goes to 100x, the cost to train a GPT-4 class model would then halve every 3.65 days, but not for long because diminishing returns would bite and eventual hard limits would be reached. In this example, perhaps the cost to train a GPT-4 class model would cut in half 5 to 10 times total over the span of a few weeks or months before plateauing. In other words, if ordinary human science would have run up against diminishing returns and physical limits after 5 to 10 years of further research, then AIs with a 100x multiplier would run up against those same diminishing returns and limits after 18.25 36.5 days of research. More explanation and discussion of this concept and how it is used in our forecast can be found in our takeoff supplements. So they have a bunch of supplements. You don't have to take their word for anything. You can dive into a supplement and they will explain specifically how they came to the conclusion. Several competing publicly released AIs now match or exceed Agent Zero, including an open weights model. OpenBrain responds by releasing Agent-1, which is more capable and reliable. So these are all predictions about the future. None of this actually happened. This is a statement about what we'll likely see in early 2026, so in about 6 months. People naturally try to compare Agent 1 to humans, but it has a very different skill profile. It knows more facts than any human, knows practically every programming language, and can solve well-specified coding problems extremely quickly. On the other hand, Agent 1 is bad at even simple long horizon tasks, like beating video games it hasn't played before. Still, the common workday is 8 hours, and a day's work can usually be separated into smaller chunks. You could think of Agent 1 as a scatterbrained employee who thrives under careful management. Savvy people find ways to automate routine parts of their jobs. So, yeah, none of this sounds too much like science fiction already. People might not have seen this before, but if you're a pro subscriber to ChatGPT, you get something called Operator, and you can you already can have it uh, act as an agent and just go out and do things on your behalf, and it's very so yeah. Find me the latest information about the U.S. economy. That's a good one. So now it's going to actually use the internet itself, make its own decisions with the uh, using a large language model to think, and yeah, it's going to the Wall Street Journal. Looks like there's an error here. Oh, verification required. So slide to the right. So I'll take control and solve the CAPTCHA for it. Okay. Oh, looks like I have to do another one. Oh, I see. You don't slide it all the way to the right. You slide it so that the puzzle piece fits in. Okay, so yeah, you can imagine, right? Like, it's Wall Street Journal blocked access to this agent. So like an agent that could get around this, so tried to get around. So use it, and you can even tell it really use another source besides WSJ. I couldn't solve the patcha. All right, so there we go. We'll just leave that running as I keep going. So OpenBrain's executives turn consideration into an implication of automating AI R&D. Security has become more important. In early 2025, the worst case scenario was leaked algorithmic secrets. Now, if China steals Agent One's weights, they could increase their research speed by nearly 50%. OpenBrain's security level is typical of a fast-growing 3,000 or so person tech company, secure only against low-priority attacks from capable cyber groups. They are working hard to protect their weights and secrets from insider threats and top cybercrime syndicates, but defense against nation states is barely on the horizon. So situational awareness went into that in a lot of detail, and it really painted the picture of the kind of security threat you're up against when you're facing an intelligence agency of a nation state. It's not the same thing, and these companies, 3,000 or so companies, just have basically no defense against like the Chinese version of the CIA. Okay, so by mid 2026, China wakes up. In China, the CCP is starting to feel the AGI. So OpenAI employees say firm's chief scientist has been making strange spiritual claims. Feel that? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, this is Ilya Sutskever. Yeah. Uh, Chip export controls and lack of government support have left China under-resourced compared to the West. By smuggling banned Taiwanese chips, buying older chips, and producing domestic chips, about 3 years behind the US Taiwanese frontier, China has managed to maintain about 12% of the world's AI relevant compute, but the older technology is harder to work with, and supply is a constant headache. A few standouts, like DeepScent, do very impressive work with limited compute, but the compute deficit limits what they can achieve without government support, and they are about 6 months behind the best OpenBrain models. So DeepScent is another fictional company. There's a real company called Tencent. These are kind of plays on real company names, but Tencent is a real company. DeepSet is a hypothetical fake company used in these future predictions. The General Secretary has long dreamed of doubling down on real-world physical manufacturing and avoiding American post-industrial decadence. He viewed software companies with suspicion, but hawks in the CCP warn that the growing race towards AGI can no longer be ignored. So he finally commits fully to the big race towards AGI, uh, fully to the big uh, AI push he had previously tried to avoid. He sets in motion the nationalization of Chinese AI research, creating an immediate information sharing mechanism for AI companies. It will escalate over the course of a year until all the best researchers merge into a DeepSent-led collective where they share algorithmic insights, datasets, and compute resources with each other. A centralized development zone, CDZ, is created at the uh, Tanwan power plant, the largest nuclear power plant in the world. Yeah, I've heard about this. And this is where the United States is behind. The United States doesn't have the same kind of energy infrastructure as China. To house a new mega data center for DeepSent, along with highly secure living and office spaces to which researchers will eventually relocate. Almost 50% of China's AI relevant compute is now working for the DeepSent-led collective, and over 80% of new chips are directed to the CDZ. At this point, the CDZ has the power capacity in place for what would be the largest centralized cluster in the world. Other party members discuss extreme measures to neutralize the West's chip advantage, a blockade of Taiwan, a full invasion, but China is falling behind on AI algorithms due to their weaker models. The Chinese intelligence agencies, among the best in the world, double down on their plans to steal OpenBrain's weights. This is a much more complex operation than their constant low-level poaching of algorithmic secrets. Their weights are a multi-terabyte file stored on a highly secure server. OpenBrain has improved security to RAND's SL3. So this is an interesting link because OpenBrain is a hypothetical. Oh, okay, yeah. So this is the a supplemental. This is their security forecast. Their cyber force think they can pull it off with help from their spies, but perhaps only once. OpenBrain will detect the theft, increase security, and they may not get another chance. So, CCP leadership wonder, should they act now and steal Agent 1 or hold out for a more advanced model? If they wait, do they risk OpenBrain upgrading security beyond their ability to penetrate? All right, so late 2026, AI takes some jobs. Just as others seem to be catching up, OpenBrain blows the competition out of the water again by releasing Agent 1 Mini, a model 10 times cheaper than Agent 1 and more easily fine-tuned for different applications. The mainstream narrative around AI has changed from maybe the hype will blow over, which is very much where we are now, to guess this is the next big thing. But people disagree about how big. Bigger than social media, bigger than smartphones, bigger than fire. AI has started to take, and I think we'll be in that bigger than social media, bigger than smartphones for a while. I feel like we're kind of already a little bit in that space as well. we're not in the bigger than fire space yet, except for um, I think these authors would probably say that AI has started to take jobs, but has also created new ones. The stock market has gone up 30% in 2026, led by OpenBrain, Nvidia, and whichever companies have most successfully integrated AI assistants. Yeah, that's the other thing, big takeaway from uh, Leopold Aschenbrenner is you should probably start buying Nvidia stock, especially this dip. Oh, that would have been such a good move. But like it's not like it's gone up 300,000% all time. What is Amazon gone up? Okay, less than that. Interesting. Okay. Well, anyway, and whichever companies have most successfully integrated AI assistants, the job market for junior software engineers is in turmoil. The AIs can do everything taught by a CS degree, but people who know how to manage and quality control teams of AIs are making a killing. Oh, okay. So managers and quality control teams they predict are the winners. Business gurus tell job seekers that familiarity with AI is the most important skill to put on a resume. Many people fear that the next wave of AIs will come for their jobs. There is a 100-person anti-AI protest in DC. Yeah, so this is kind of the world I'm trying to prepare for a bit. It does. I think it doesn't have to be just about AI. Because like, AI comes from data centers, you access it over the cloud. So like there's a lot of a broad skill of um different technologies relating to AI. So you just got to make sure that you're, talking about like going from horses to cars. If you're a rubber, if you work something to do with rubber for the tires, like you're probably going to be fine. It's just if you work as a nail clipper for horses or like a horseshoer, then it's like there's still going to be a vast world of jobs out there, and it's probably not hard to end up in a field that is valued by AI. The Department of Defense (DoD) quietly begins contracting OpenBrain directly for cyber data analysis and R&D. But integration is slow due to the bureaucracy and DoD procurement process. So key metrics in 2026, oh, the global total global capital expenditure on AI infrastructure. So this is the other key takeaway from Leopold Aschenbrenner is it's going to be a multi-trillion dollar industry very quick. They predict that it'll be a $1 trillion industry in 2026, in the beginning of 2026. All right, then global AI power is going to be 36 gigawatts globally, um, devoted purely to AI systems. Share of US power on AI, so percentage of US electrical capacity used for AI operations, so 2.5% of the uh, I'm confused here. Oh, I see. No, I'm not confused. Oh, I am kind of confused. So it looks like okay, so it looks like they're predicting globally um the US will be using the vast majority of global AI power because it looks like the US will be using 33 gigawatts of its total capacity, which is 1.34 terawatts. Um, and but globally there will only be an extra 5 gigawatts used. That's surprising. I don't know if I would agree with that because China will be using more than just 5 gigawatts, right? Anyway, OpenBrain revenue will be a $45 billion company, capital expenditure 200 billion, OpenBrain compute costs 40 billion. Yeah, so this is great because they seem to agree with situational awareness that this is going to grow to be a multi-trillion dollar industry within the next decade. And they even say it'll grow to be a $1 trillion industry sometime in 2026. So why our uncertainty increases substantially beyond 2026? Our forecast from the current day through 2026 is substantially more grounded than what follows. This is particularly because it's nearer, but it's also because the effects of AI on the world really start to compound in 2027. For 2025 and 2026, our forecast is heavily informed by extrapolating straight lines on compute scale-ups, algorithmic improvements, and benchmark performance. At this point in the scenario, we begin to see major effects from AI accelerated AI-R&D on the timeline, which causes us to revise our guesses for the trend lines upwards. But these dynamics are inherently much less predictable. Over the course of 2027, the AIs improve from being able to mostly do the job of an open brain research engineer to eclipsing all humans at all tasks. This represents roughly our median guess, but we think it's plausible that this happens up to 5 times slower or faster. For our background research, see the timelines forecast and the takeoff forecast, which will also be summarized in the expandables below. All right, so January 2027, Agent 2 never finishes learning. With Agent 1's help, OpenBrain is now post-training Agent 2. More than ever, the focus is on high-quality data. Copious amounts of synthetic data are produced, evaluated, and filtered for quality before being fed to Agent 2. On top of this, they pay billions of dollars for human laborers to record themselves solving long horizon tasks. On top of all that, they train Agent 2 almost continuously using reinforcement training on an ever expanding suite of diverse difficult tasks. Lots of video games, lots of coding challenges, lots of research tasks. Agent 2, more so than previous models, is effectively online learning in that it's built to never really finish training. Every day, the weights get updated to the latest version, trained on more data generated by the previous version to, to previous version the previous day. Agent 1 has been optimized for AI R&D tasks, hoping to initiate an intelligence explosion. OpenBrain doubles down on this strategy with Agent 2. It is qualitatively almost as good as the top human experts at research engineering, designing and implementing experiments, and as good as the 25th percentile open brain scientist at research taste, deciding what to study next, what experiments to run, or having inklings of potential new paradigms. Interesting. So while the latest Agent 1 could double the pace of OpenBrain's algorithmic progress, Agent 2 can now triple it, and will improve further with time. In practice, this looks like every open brain researcher becoming the manager of an AI team. With new capabilities come new dangers. The safety team finds that if Agent 2 somehow escaped from the company and wanted to survive and replicate autonomously, it might be able to do so. That is, it could autonomously develop and execute plans to hack into AI servers, install copies of itself, evade detection, and use that secure base to pursue whatever goals it might have. Uh, though how effectively it would do so as weeks roll by is unknown and in doubt. These results only show that the model has the capability to do these tasks, not whether it would want to do this. Still, it's unsettling to even to know this is possible. Given the dangers of the new model, OpenBrain responsibly elects not to release it publicly yet. In fact, they want to focus on internal AI R&D. Knowledge of Agent 2's full capabilities is limited to an elite silo containing the immediate team, OpenBrain leadership and security, a few dozen US government officials, and the legions of CCP spies who have infiltrated OpenBrain for years. And there's a footnote on that and some hyperlinks here. Ah, okay, so this is kind of cool. It directly links to situational awareness. Oh wait, does it? Yeah, it does. It does. So yeah, so these are two very much related articles. So this is yeah. All right, and here's operator going on. So free up-to-date snapshots. Uh, yes, economy is not good right now. All right, February 2027. All right, I'm at the 30-minute mark. You know what? I think that's all I can do. It's just going to be a 30-minute video. So thanks for watching and see you in the next one.